As I investigate this current topic, I feel called to the energetics of it and where this came from on a more original source. And I feel that it was pre-birth. And so what I think happens is when a child comes in, the woman, the mother, is to receive all that the child is and all of the love and the light that a child is. And what I think happens is that some mothers are not able to do this for very many reasons. And I won't go into those, but I did, and I haven't been a mother. I haven't had this experience, but I did have a friend who's, very intuitive and in touch. And while she was pregnant, she did feel things coming up for her. It was almost as though the love of the child was pushing out old trauma. And since she chose to just process those feelings and move through it and accept the love, there was an awareness on her part. But in cases where this doesn't happen, I think what happens is that the child on some level experiences rejection. And obviously this is not the intention of the mother. This is not to villainize mothers, but the point is that, and I think this is very often the life path of a light worker, because to come in with the purpose to bring in light is to push out and cause that pain to resurface often in others in order to heal. And I think if that process is blocked within the prenatal time period, that there can be a wounding already present in the child even before interacting with the family system of rejection. I think rejection is the third word. It's a lack of reception. A lack of reception. And so this really resonates with me. So I'm touching on something here. And this is definitely going to be a video for light workers, because I'm about to go into past lives a little bit here for the purpose of anyone this might serve, help move through a similar experience. This is just what is coming up for me, and what I'm feeling is that in a previous life I had died while pregnant, and I don't think that my soul could fully return to source. And I almost hear myself saying, like, how could you let this happen? Whether I'm talking to source, on some level I'm talking to myself, and now we have a refusal to self-accept. And that would be, you could say, the karma that even invited my soul into this life experience that I have now. And so if I try to bring in that energy to support that part, to be able to accept comfort and forgiveness and a consolement. It's this reconciliation energy, mercy. I can look at it, I'm looking at it, so I can sense it. This is true. I'm picking up on something here. And I can feel the grief in my body. There's a difficulty in processing that grief. It's grief that I'm picking up on now. And that makes sense because my ancestral line had a similar experience that could have started that process in the women. I really am looking right at the issue here. And I want to bring in the energy to support that shift. I'm feeling drawn to talk back to the light workers. This is the energy of being heard, of being received. This has a farther reaching context. Because a lot of light workers experience that they're very good at receiving others. They can hold space for the pain of others very effortlessly, but they often feel, these friends of mine feel that no one can receive them. And it's often through another light worker that they finally start to feel somewhat received, or at the very least recognized or heard. For some reason, feeling heard is coming up here. Your grief to be heard. Heard. I'm really hearing this word. To be heard. Okay, I'm feeling that settle in. All of these issues that I've been speaking out seem so interlaced. I now see this correlating to the other videos and the not feeling heard on the women's part. It's fascinating to me. Grief not being heard. There is movement. I feel movement in the throat chakra. I feel movement. This is good. I feel a bit nervous. Perhaps because this has not been done before. It's like as if you go to speak to someone for the first time. You don't know if they will hear you. Creating that space to be heard. Creating a space within yourself, a space to be heard, and a space within the world to be heard, a space to be heard, wherever that space is to be heard. Oh, and by source. Heard by source is coming up for me. Anyone who's prayed and feels like their prayers are not heard. Wow, okay. Which in essence is heard by yourself in some regard, by your soul, your own soul. To be heard by your own soul. To be heard by your own soul. This is creating movement. Yeah, I'm still feeling it move. I really feel it shift, moving. It's like a a dam that has been blocked, and now there's a ring, like a circular ring, just going around and around like it needed to for a long time, And I feel compelled to stay on and continue to support that space. I feel it down the back, all the way down the spine. It's deeper than the spine, it's in the musculature. I feel it in the lungs and the diaphragm and the chest muscles and the breasts. But I'm feeling it as the muscles, the chest muscles that would be restricted. I'm feeling it in the sacral, in the womb space. No, it's the sacral. It's the sacral chakra, the sacral center, sacral. And in the pelvic muscles, Wow, I feel anger. It's almost like someone kicking something off. No. Again, being heard. There's still tension in the abdominal muscles, the lower abdominal muscles. It's affecting the breathing, the breath. Fear, it's fear. Tension, apprehension, fear, apprehension. Good. Feeling alone. I feel this again in the same upper body. Feeling alone. Yeah, I feel constriction all around that upper body and in the back as well now, and the shoulders. Not on top, sort of underneath shoulders. This is also restricting the breathing. It's part of the suppression of grief and anger. I feel it in the diaphragm. It feels like a pressure, like a tension, a knot, almost like a belt around the waist, but I just am feeling the pressure point in the middle, right in the middle. So much grief. Sadness, loss. feeling trapped, can't move, can't change things, wanting freedom, needing freedom. Surrender if there's an energy of grace and surrender coming through. Mercy, surrender, 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 to let go, surrender. There's the energy of understanding coming through, compassion. See that empathy, feel it. It is uncomfortable. I find myself wanting to stop the video. Yet, I can tell it needs to come in. Trust. There's another energy. Grace. This may have further reaching origin, but this feels... There was definitely movement here. I will continue investigating this. Most fascinating.